One of the most frequently asked questions I get is, how do I achieve realism with acrylics? I know a lot of beginners struggle with this medium as their paintings may look patchy, washed out, or flat. I started out in exactly the same way, and it's taken years to achieve the realistic finish that I get with my paintings. But I'm going to share with you my 5 best tips for painting realistically in acrylics. Tip number 1 is about choosing the right surface to paint on. For realistic paintings, the smoother the surface, the better. I achieve this smooth surface by applying a layer of gesso and then sanding that layer until it is smooth. When painting realism, the grain of the canvas can actually interfere with the painting that you are trying to create. So having that smooth layer and that smooth surface really helps you appreciate the fine details that you're trying to achieve in your painting. Tip number 2 is all about blending to achieve smooth transitions. More often than not, blending with acrylics is the most difficult thing beginners face. It's so difficult because acrylics dry so fast. If you want to achieve a smooth transition quickly, then you're better off just using oils. However, if you want to use acrylics for your work, you are going to need patience to achieve that smooth, blended transition. Creating these transitions with acrylics requires multiple layers of paint. You cannot achieve perfectly smooth gradients in one go, not like you can with oils. When creating these smooth, large gradients, I start with a basic rough blocking of colour and then let it dry. I usually don't use much water at this stage, as too much water can cause paint to peel in later layers. Peeling of paint is when you start to apply paint over a layer and the new layer scrapes off or peels away the paint from the original layer, exposing the bare canvas. This happens for 2 reasons. 1, you use too much water in your first layer, or 2, you didn't wait a long enough time for your painting to dry. To avoid the peeling, use less water at the start of the piece and more water in later layers. Number 3 is don't be afraid to make changes as you go through that painting. You can see how in this section of the painting I painted in the rocks and the sea life of the background, but then decided I didn't like it, so painted over that section. Instead of painting over completely, I used a semi-transparent glaze so that some of those shapes faintly showed through. Remember, there aren't any mistakes when you're painting, just don't be afraid to change something that you don't like. The new layers and the marks made by those alterations are going to be what makes your painting look interesting and alive. Choosing a good reference is also very important for creating realistic work. The references that I get are from wildlifereferencephotos.com. It's really cheap and affordable, and there are some fantastic pictures to choose from. That being said, it's also good to move away from your reference slightly. Don't just try and recreate a photo, try and put your own twist into the painting. For this one, I've added some masks and some plastic debris to emphasise some of the consequences of the last 2 years and its effect on the environment. This brings us nicely onto step 4, which is use layers. There are a number of reasons for this. 1, it improves the opacity of the paint, and 2, it can really help with the blending and the colour transitions. Affordable acrylic paints tend to be less pigmented than their equivalents in oils, so the paint can look a little bit streaky when it's applied in a single layer, just like this. To remove those streaks, there are 2 options. 1 is buy professional quality paint, which can be way more expensive than oil paint, or build up your painting in layers like I did with this cheetah. Here's my layering process. I like to start by blocking in an underpainting in a single colour. In this case, this dark blue mixed with raw umber. Again, be careful not to use too much water, otherwise the next layer may cause that paint to peel off the surface of the canvas. If you're unsure, use a hairdryer and let the paint completely dry before moving on to the next layer. Once this underpainting is dry, I build up a layer of colour. You can see, because I'm using acrylic paints, that the paint is still transparent. The advantage to using acrylics is that they dry so fast, you can build up the layers pretty quickly, which is what I'm doing here. The other reason for layers is it helps with achieving those smooth, blended transitions between sections. By applying glazes over your work, you can soften the edges and blend areas of the painting together. You can then work over the top with highlights and shadows as required. Quick tip here. Instead of using pure white to mix for your highlights, why not try using some buff titanium instead? It's a very pale yellow colour, but it really helps to reduce the intensity of those highlights. You can see here how I applied the same process with the turtle in the foreground. This turtle is slightly closer, so I'm making sure to make it brighter and more saturated than the turtle that's slightly behind. This will push the turtle forward and emphasise the focal points for the viewer to look at. And then my final, and probably the most important tip, is do not give up. This is a very long process, and painting in this way does take a lot of patience. And without question, your painting will go through some very ugly stages. You just have to persevere and keep going. There are definitely loads of stages that just make you want to pick up that canvas and throw it out of a window. The more time and effort you put into the painting process, the better that outcome will be. Getting over that frustration and that fear and spending time on a piece is going to improve it. I've spent well over 100 hours on this piece, and it has been a struggle on more than one occasion to actually pick up the brush and start painting, just because I'm so frustrated with how it looks, nothing seems to be going right, and I just don't think it will ever be a finished piece. The only way to get over this is just pick up the brush and do it. Thankfully, I think all of my work and effort has paid off, and I am really happy with this piece. What do you think? If you're not sure whether you'd rather use oils or acrylics with your painting, why not check out this video that me and Amber did, where we discuss why we use acrylics for our realistic paintings. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.